I'm very pleased to be here with you. My name is Hans Hendrischke. I'm Professor for Chinese Business and Management at the University of Sydney Business School. We are publishing an annual report on Chinese investment into Australia, and we do interviews with Chinese entrepreneurs in Australia. What we have focused on in the last few years was to look at the way in which Chinese entrepreneurs integrate themselves in the Australian economy. And I think again this is an area where we're only in the beginning. If you invest in resources, you're somewhere in Western Australia. But if you start to invest in services, if you start to invest in agribusiness, then you come closer to everyday society. And that's what's happening with Chinese entrepreneurs. And what they are learning in Australia is localization, it's local integration, because that's a learning process which everybody has to go through, because things are different in China. Coming to Australia, they have to learn the way the law works, they have to learn the way professional services work, they have to learn the language quite often, and they have to learn to interact with Australian business partners. And for many of the Chinese companies who come here, it is actually a question of using Australia as a first stepping stone for further international expansion. So they come to Australia and say, this is our pilot project. We start to work here, we learn things here, we hire, for example, Chinese students who have been trained here because they know much more about Australia than when you come from China. This is a slow process. The Australian industry and the Australian companies and partners, they're interested in helping in that, so that Chinese entrepreneurs become, in a sense, more global and more local at the same time here. And then that's a basis for them to go to bigger markets like US and UK. Being an economist, I see it as an institutional. The way they create institutions, the way they act with each other, the way they create trust. All of these are things where they started when there was nothing to support them. So they had to create really the whole way in which to run business. That's something where they are very creative. And I think that's what in the end makes these business people from Zhejiang so special. They're not all that much different from those in Jiangsu, for example. They are just very good in creating institutions and in taking their own institutions into international arenas and do business there. And I think that's where Australian businesses can learn a lot, in the sense that they need to cooperate with these people. So you can't just go and do trade with a website only. You need to know the people, and you need to be in the networks, and once you are that, then you have a solid basis. 我在这几年，就是这几十年，一个希望就是帮澳大利亚和中国建立友好长期的关系。目前我们双边关系是情况不是很理想的，是目前我们缺乏对话。所以我希望在很快的将来，我们能恢复我们的对话。将来我希望我们有一个新的基础，考虑了很多东西，考虑我们相互的依赖性，所以我们在这个新的基础上，应该可以有一个比较光荣的前途。是我们潜力，经济合作方面的潜力是很多，我希望我们尽快能利用起来。另外一点就是要强调的，我觉得是澳大利亚一个特点，我们中国学生在这儿是很多，但5年后在中国碰到他们英文比在这儿还好。他们是真正国际化的一些专家，他们对西方了解，对澳大利亚了解，所以有这种学生，有这种人做中间的人是很宝贵的一个才有。我在这方面能做一些工作，使我心里很高兴，很满意。